Howdy, this is Lemmy with RevZilla TV, here to talk to you today about Progressive's high-performance fork cartridge kit for Harley Dyna. Quite simply, you should be looking into Progressive's fork cartridge kit for your Dyna if you want the best handling that you can get for your motorcycle. These things are not available for a super wide range of vehicles. Harley Dyna guys, you're the only people who can run this. Progressive's only making these for you, and with good reason. Installation on these is probably a two-bearder. You're going to need some way to get your motorcycle up in the air and some basic mechanical skill. Most of you home mechanics who are reasonably accomplished should be able to get this in there, no problem. Let's get to the kit. So these things are being cranked out in a totally different manner than most of the suspension products you see for Harleys. Most Harley suspension products are geared towards getting the bikes down low, people leveling off their bikes. They're adjusting the ride height. Those of you who are considering this kit probably are not ride height folks. These things are only available in stock or a 1-inch lower configuration. That's really just to help balance out some things depending on what your rake and trail's like in your motorcycle. Really, lowering is not the goal of this kit. This is super high performance sport bike technology. And the reason Progressive makes these really only for the Dyna is because the Dyna is the high performance big twin. It's the fastest one out there. Those of you guys considering this kit no doubt are road burners. You guys out there carving up the corners, tearing it up, probably have mid pegs. These are the things you're going to want for that style of riding. The cool part about the cartridge kit, I think, is the fact that they split this up. The forks now become asymmetrical. You ditch your oil bath damping, which is terrible. It's 1945 technology. It's awful, awful stuff. Now you can go to performance cartridge stuff. And when I say they're asymmetrical, what that means is each fork leg is handling different duties. You'll notice there's only one spring up here. The reason there's only one spring is because it's only one spring in one fork leg. So your one fork leg is going to handle all of your compression duties, and the other fork leg is going to handle your damping duties. What does that do? It works the shock less. What that means is your gas and your oil in there is not being worked both on up and down strokes. Really, it's only working on the upstroke of the piston. So what that means is the fluid stays cooler. Anybody who knows anything about suspension understands that continually, stroking a fork up and down heats up the fluid, causes bubbles to form, causes cavitation, and ultimately degradation of performance. In order to split these things up, what Progressive has done there effectively is given you only 50% of the fork movement that you would normally get, aside from ditching that terrible valving that you get with your open bath forks. These things are sealed units. They work really great. You can see also this spring is progressive. It is more tightly wound as you hit the end of the spring. What that does is gives you a spring that handles bumps differently. It can deal well with little stuff in the roadway, but it also deals well with the bigger hits as well. It gives you greater road holding. As I said, for those of you guys out there who are really tearing it up, carving up the corners, you're out there scraping parts, this is the suspension you're going to want to consider. This is serious stuff. This isn't just your typical, we'll alter the ride height stuff. Installation on these is a two-bearder. It's not particularly difficult for most of you. You are going to need a way to get your bike in the air to unload the weight from the front suspension, and you are going to need a decent array of hand tools. Other than that, though, the installation goes pretty smoothly. Progressive provides great instructions for these. They also include a lot of the tools you're going to need. For instance, this puppy here, which is made specifically to adjust the preload on your bike. The other thing they include too is a special tool for adjusting, for putting in your fork tops. This thing is made specifically so you don't mar things up. It's really easy to install. Progressive has thought about really every part of the installation for you. The other thing you're going to think about too, because you're ditching that open bath method of damping, you're going to use different amounts of fork oil. Really, you're going to use just a couple hundred cc's of fork oil, and really that's just serving as a lubricant for these pieces. It's no longer serving any type of a damping capability. So that's one of the things you want to think about. And when you are setting up with this kit, make sure you do have an appropriate fork oil. Weight is not going to be quite so important. I think this is a really cool suspension. I like to ride bikes hard, and this is the type of suspension that's no frills, not frou-frou stuff. This is serious riding suspension. I'm not the only person who digs it though. Click below, read some rider reviews, educate yourself a little bit on whether or not this is going to suit your riding style. If you've got questions other reviewers or I didn't cover, give us a holler. See us at RevZilla.com. You can always get us by phone, 877-792-9455. I'm Lemmy. I'm out of here.